Hello everyone, it's Justine. Today I'm going to be showing you one card using the small die of the month from Spellbinders, and this is for August of 2022. It is called Outlined Sentiments. So as the title says, there are going to be some sentiments. So it comes with congrats, thanks, hello, for you, kind of together, and then cheers. Then it comes with a couple different flower or floral dies. So this is the big flower and then some of the centers that you can choose to add in. These are little flowers that you can add to these little sprigs or not, and some leaves. So even though there isn't a ton of dies that aren't sentiments, this is a really good one for your collection since it has common things like congratulations, hello, thank you. The only thing that is really missing, I would say, is birthday, but you could even do a birthday card that says for you or cheers, and you can write like cheers to another year. So this is a really good die set to have in your stash because it's very versatile. So I'll just slide it off to the side here for now. And I actually went ahead and pre-cut my dies for a card. Now I'm doing two cards. So this is the first card I'm going to be making with this set. And this first card will have tones of oranges and yellows. So I already went ahead and die cut things out. And now I'm going to simply glue it down. And as I do that, I'm going to be talking about how to do that and my thoughts on this set. So let's jump into it. First, I'm going to put down my sentiment since that's the focal point of my card. And I went ahead and chose a thanks, and I chose like fall colors because I have a feeling that I'm going to need some thank you cards in the fall since I'm a teacher and my birthday is in the fall. So I tend to get a couple things in the fall and I need thank you cards on hand. So here's me making one. I used the letter die to cut out this thanks, that's this one, to cut out the yellow, and this one to cut out the orange, so that's the background. I would recommend doing them separately, even if you are going to have these two pieces be the same color. I would not recommend die cutting them layered. Do it separate in your die cutting machine and then glue the paper together at the end. Just because this can either slide up or down and it could become uneven, so I would just suggest cutting and then gluing. So to put everything down, I'm going to be using some liquid glue. Again, I'm using my Barely Art glue. It's one of my favorites and it can be found at the Spellbinders website. I think that's a pretty good deal there. I'm also going to be using one of my favorite tools, the reverse tweezers. And I think I got mine at a crafts shop, my local crafts shop here in Minnesota, but I'm sure they have it at most crafts shops. And with my reverse tweezers, I can stick things down and hold just a tiny little bit and be able to put glue even on the ends of pieces of paper and not worry about my fingers getting full of glue. And it takes my hand out of the way so I can see if my paper is straight as I am gluing, which is always nice. Things aren't always perfectly straight since it's handmade, but it's nice to not have it be too crooked. Now this K, the T, and the S are separate from the H-A-N. So just be mindful when you're die cutting to not have it fall somewhere like I almost did. I think this is one of those floral sets that people are going to make a bunch of cards with because the flowers are really cute and they can be used in really any color and look pretty. So it's kind of like the bold blooms die, which I just got in the mail recently, so I have to try a card or two with that since it's so popular and I've seen so many different cards with it. So I gotta try something. Now I couldn't decide if I wanted to emboss my background, and I think I'm going to. So what I'm going to do is slide off my pieces in a deliberate way so I don't mess up my orders, because it took me a while to figure out what colors I wanted layered on top of each other for my florals to not have like two giant yellow pieces together or two oranges together. So because I took the time to do that already, I don't want to mess it up, and I'll just gently slide it over, and hopefully things stay kind of, I mean, it probably won't look the same. What I could do is take a quick picture of the rest of it. Okay, I've done this before with cards. I'll just set that off to the side until I need it. But if I have a layout that I really like, and this layout doesn't really call for tape or that cling wrap, so I will just I'll just do this for now. Now, if you don't know what an embossing folder is, basically it just creates a pressed texture in the paper without cutting it. So let's find one that I would like to use here. I think I'm going to use this one. This was the embossing folder of the month from June, and since it has like leaves and things, I think it's appropriate for this card. So if you've never seen an embossing folder, here it is. It basically is just a piece of plastic. It has some texture here. You put your paper in the embossing folder here, then you just make sure it's nice and straight. So I think it's pretty even. I think it could go a little bit to the left there. Maybe just a hair or two. I kind of want that centerpiece there. I think that's about even. Well, it's gonna have to be. Anyway, then I will put this into a die cutting machine. I have the Evolution, but some other ones that are popular are the Platinum from Spellbinders or the Big Shot, and it just basically presses it really, really hard with a lot of pressure, and then you open it and it will have the texture of this die impressed on the paper. So I will just move a couple things around and press it out, and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. All right, then you just open up the folder like this, and now your paper has some really fun texture. So you can use this side that's been embossed, or you can use this side that's been debossed, is what they call it, and it's more of like the dent in. This time I'm going to use the embossed side. So you can't feel it over the video here, but it does have really a nice texture. And sometimes when I emboss, the paper kind of gets folded, of course, here. So my card is needing to be trimmed a little bit here. So I'm going to do that before I glue on my red paper. Now I just added a little bit of glue or double-sided tape to the back of my paper, and I like to put on my card bases to my paper kind of like this, so it lines up this edge straight, and I just press down. Sometimes I will line it up with this side, but this makes sure that everything is orderly. I can see that I do need to trim off just a little bit more from the top, so I will do that. All right, now that the card is prepared, I can glue things on. So I did want this things to kind of be offset, kind of on the right here, maybe about here. I do love the scriptiness of this text. I think it is very delicate and playful, but it's not too feminine. And I think that you could make some masculine cards with this font, because some of the first letters of these are quite bold, and they look like they could work for a masculine card as well. They're not too girly. I especially love the C's for cheers and congrats because they're so loopy. and this dramatic T is just fun. So I'm going to pull out my phone. I'm Minnesotan and I have a little bit of an accent, so there's that ooh. And I'll get my picture up so I can reference it as I go. Alright, so there's my picture. And I'm going to start with this corner here and just kind of work my way around. So I have this orange one. I'm going to put that on first. You could assemble the flowers before putting them on the card. That's another option, but I sometimes have a plan and then when I'm creating I change my mind, so I kind of wanted it to be a bit more free to move things around or change colors if my brain decides to do that. So I'm going to be using my reverse tweezers and my jewel picker quite a bit here. Since there are so many different little parts here, I am going to kind of work quickly and deliberately so this video isn't half an hour long of me just gluing down paper. Okay, I did want to just kind of peep this little floral embellishment behind this green, since it's kind of like a little sprig for the flower, or base for the flower is probably a better word for it. So we'll just tuck it in. To make all of the floral parts, that's staying down. Okay, well, whatever. I used all scrap paper, and I really didn't use that much paper to make it. I just used what I had in my red, orange, and yellow small drawer, emphasis on small. I don't like to save a ton of scraps because I don't have room and I don't like just having stuff. My brain is a bit weird that way. I can't think creatively. I can't process when I just have like hordes of things. So I don't. I use it and move on. So here's me using my paper scraps, making something fun, moving on. Since for the rest of this video, it's basically me just putting down the flowers and repeating this whole process of glue, put down, layer, layer, layer. I am going to choose to speed up the rest of this video, and you can see me finish up this card, but faster and without my chit chat. So here we go. Alright, I am almost finished with this card. I do have a couple more pieces left, and that is it. I did die cut a couple extra pieces now, or not now, but when I was prepping for this card, I didn't know how much I really wanted on the actual card, but I can always pull in extra pieces now that I am working, and if not, they will go in the little baggie that I have for this die set and be used in a future project, or they will be used for sending on a more simple card with not so many flowers. But I definitely want to use them since I took the time to die cut it and I used paper. So we'll see what I feel once I finish here. Does it need something else? I think I'm going to decide that after I chop off the sides that need chopping, like this top part that has this flower and sprig. I'm just going to use my scissors and lop them off. My scissors has not been working the best because I probably should not have done this, but my little needle got stuck in my art glue and I used my scissors to pry it off, and yeah, it has not been the same since, so would not recommend doing that. What I should have done is just grab some tweezers or something from the garage and pinched it out instead of using my scissors, because now I feel like I need new scissors. Oh well. I hope to see you in my next video. I will be putting out another video with the same die set using a different color scheme and a different design. So stay tuned on my channel for that one in a few days. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye!